Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Wednesday. What do we got going on today? Well, Dow Jones is down slightly, about 50 points. NASDAQ having a good day again, up 150 points. So is this the breakout in the market? We had that big run up yesterday, up about 3% on a lot of the exchanges, the New York, the S&P, the NASDAQ. They were all just booming yesterday. Is it the breakout? Maybe it could be. I'm not sure though, but that's what you get with these short covering rallies. You get the short covering, boom, pressure. Everybody is short and they all got to cover and the market just spikes upward. And we're having this, kind of a breakout right here. Will it continue? I'm not convinced it will. It could. I have a small short position on. Obviously, I'm on the wrong side of that trade. I'm losing money on my short position. I have not taken it off yet. If it continues up, I probably will. We have a gap in the SPY up at the 400 level. We may come up to 400, fill that gap, but I still think we're going to retest that June low. That's my opinion. I could be wrong on that. If I got everything right, I could be very wealthy. Sometimes I get things wrong. But anyways, the market's in a breakout mode, but I'm not convinced. We're up about 10% off the low. I mean, that's a good rally, right? Up about 10% off the low, knocked the SPY. I mean, the S&P is no longer in the bear market territory. Bear market territory being down 20% or more. We've passed right through it. We bounced up about 10%. So we'll see how this plays out. I still kind of got a hunch we're going to go down and retest that low before we push this market up higher. But this does look, it is a breakout. You can't deny it. We're above the 50-day in all the indices right now. We'll see if that move continues higher. I still have a feeling we're going to pull back, retest the June lows. All right, so let's move on to real estate. Now that's a little bit of fun going on here. Now, why are sellers in a panic mode? They're in a panic mode. You can tell that just by the price reductions. 50% of homes listed in many cities already are reducing the price. They're in panic mode because it's not selling in a week. Now, real estate in the normal times, now I'm an old guy, normal used to take about 4 to 6 months to sell a house. Now, if it doesn't sell in 4 to 6 days, sellers start to panic. No, Billy Bob got out. I didn't get out. Well, they want to get out, they want to sell. So they price reduce and they price reduce and they price reduce. But here's what's interesting. Okay, so a lot of houses are falling out of escrow. Now, what does this mean exactly? Well, it means that the house they put under contract, they backed out. The buyer backed out. Now, what happens there? Now, right now, it's about 15 to 20% of homes that are going to contract. They actually fall out of contract. They don't get closed. There is no closing, for example. All right, so let's say I have a buyer and they come and they go, Mike, I really want to buy this house. And I go, all right, well, let's write a contract, and you put your money into escrow. It's a deposit of about 3% of the purchase price that goes into escrow, the earnest money deposit, and then you do the inspections, and then you get the appraisals, and you get the loan documents, and it's a process. And this process takes anywhere, it can be from 30 to 60 days, let's say. Now, if you're paying all cash, you can do this in a week, but normally most 87% of people buy with the mortgage, and it takes about 30 to 60 days to bring it to close. Now, during that time, they're planning their life. The seller, they're moving on, right? In their mind, their house is sold, but not so fast. About 1 out of 5 in my area right now are falling out of escrow. Now, I'll tell you one I had. This is kind of a funny story. But anyways, I had a couple, very nice couple, looking for properties, and I showed them property after property after property, and they put offers in, they back out, put offers in, they back out. And they found this house house that was just perfect for them, just beautiful for them. But it backed up to the freeway. The freeway was right behind their backyard. Now, there was a sound wall there, and I had both of them. I go, look, I don't think you really want this house. I tried to talk them out of it. I don't think you want this property. Here, put your hand on this sound wall, and you could hear every time one of the cars go by, right? So they could actually feel the freeway. And they both knew, clear as day, that the house is right backed up to a freeway. But they were in love with the house, and they went ahead and they wrote a letter to the seller telling them how beautiful it was and how they wanted to raise their family in their home so that the seller would accept their offer. And sure enough, the seller accepted their offer, right? And so we put that 3% deposit money into escrow, and it was moving along. They were getting the loan documents all done. And about 2 or 3 weeks into the process, they called me up and they said, Mike, we don't want the house. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? What's the problem? And they go, well, it backs up to the freeway, Mike. And I'm like shaking my head going, I think I told you that. But so I had to get him out of this house. Now, here's what happened. All right. So the house was beautiful. Now, they had this house staged, professionally staged. And the other agent, she was a lady, and she pulled all of the staging out of the property and sent it back to the stager because she thought it was done. She was sure that my buyers would close on the deal because they were in love with the house, writing the love letter and everything. But they backed out of the deal. So now she's got no furniture in the house. The house is completely vacant. Now, leave me a message down below. Do you think that staging, would you pay, well, let's call it 10% more if they put pretty furniture into a vacant home? Would you pay 10% more for that home? Now, when I started in real estate, nobody staged houses, but now everybody stages houses, and they say they sell for 10 to 12% higher just because you put this fancy furniture into the home. Now, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm not convinced that they do. But anyway, she pulled all of her staging out, and she was very upset, very upset. Cost her another $1,500 just to bring the staging back into the home. But my point is that when things fall out of escrow, you have to start from scratch again. You have to put the property back onto the market, put it back onto the multiple listing. Now, when you put it back on, you always say TFT, transaction fell through, and you always say no fault of the property. Well, of course it wasn't the fault of the property, fault of my idiot buyers. That's whose fault it was. They couldn't figure out that it was on the freeway, even though I explained it to them. But they fell out of escrow. When you fall out, you have to start over. Now, maybe it takes you, let's say you put a house for sale right now, and maybe it takes you 60 days just to get into escrow, and then let's say after 30 days, it falls out of escrow, and now you start the process over, and it takes you maybe another 60 days. So you're looking 5 months out on a lot of these homes. 1 out of 5 homes in my area are falling out of escrow. Now, new homes, they're falling. The people are asking for their deposits back. They're just falling out right and left. I mean, they cannot get the new home sold right now. Now, I get this question all the time. Like, okay, let's say, for example, Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey, he thinks this is the best time to buy a house. Now, he's basing that on low inventory. And a lot of people say to me, Mike, houses can't fall. Inventory's too low. People need a place to live. Where's the inventory going to come from? Everybody's got these loans locked in at 3%. That people would be an idiot to sell their house. They'd be an idiot because the next loan they get is going to be at 6%. Why would anyone in their right mind do this? I tell them, look, I've been in this business a long time. There's a lot of reasons why people sell a house, right? Okay, maybe they're getting divorced, okay, and they just want to get separated. They want to get rid of the property. Maybe someone dies. A lot of baby boomers, I'm a baby boomer. A lot of baby boomers are starting to die. Look, if I die, my heirs will be selling this house so fast that it'll be on the market in the next day. Okay, so a lot of people dying now. Okay, the relocation. Some people get relocated on their job. They have to move from California to New York. They don't want that house in California. They got to sell it. Now, what about people that lose their job? We got this thing that we're in right now. It's called the recession. Now, the government, they won't admit it yet, but we're in a recession. And recessions, people lose jobs. People are starting to lose lose a lot of jobs. So this causes people to sell their house. When you lose your job, can't pay your mortgage, you sell your house just so you can survive. Now, also, we're in a very precarious time here, a time when people did not have to pay their mortgage for years. People did not have to pay rent for years. There are foreclosures. There's evictions coming. But, I mean, we've had the last 2 years, you couldn't evict the tenants. We had that pandemic thing going on. And people that were going to be foreclosed upon, they didn't get foreclosed upon. They went into forbearance. That's just how it works today. Now, all these are coming onto the marketplace. These homes will be coming on. The foreclosures are going to be spiking up. I'm telling you, you throw in a recession with the foreclosure market, you're going to get a lot of inventory. Now, in a lot of areas, inventory's already doubled or tripled. The inventory is coming on. So these sellers are starting to panic, but that's where the inventory is going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from foreclosures, from divorces, from people dying, from job losses, from relocations. There's a number of reasons you don't think about as to why people sell houses. Now, look, if you're getting divorced, you're not going, Mike, we got 3% mortgage on this, and we're just thinking we're going to get divorced, and we're just both going to live there, No, you're saying, get rid of this house for me as fast as you can. I want out. People sell for different reasons, and there's always people selling, I think a better question might be is where are the buyers going to be coming from? Where are the buyers going to be coming from when the people are getting laid off from jobs? When there's hiring freezes in a lot of the big tech companies right now have hiring freezes. People can't get jobs, so they can't buy these homes. That's a much better question. Where are the buyers coming from? They got to be able to afford a home at this price, and they cannot. So what's going to happen to this price? This is the price Billy Bob got out at. That price is going to come down. It's going to come down. It's going to stair-stepping down already. Now, a lot of you think that, hey, in my area, we're just perfectly fine. We're just going to keep going up from here. It's going to be great. And that's great. That's fantastic, but I don't believe you. Anyways, it's just my opinion. I went on a little ramble today. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me the thumbs up. Why not? It's Wednesday. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.